All right, what is up, Five Night Gamers? Welcome back to the Ultra Space Time Podcast, episode 74, Full Power Podcast. And as always, before we start, Twitch Prime is not a crime. So if you want to drop that free Prime sub on our channel to support us, that would be much appreciated. But we also will take a follow or a sub on YouTube. And with that said, today's guests, we got DFree. How you doing, man? Good morning.
What's up? Happy to be back.
Happy to have you back too. And again, we are joined by Mr. Legends Weekend. What's up, Ironcane?
What's going on, guys? You know, it's the best time to play Legends right now, baby. Get those super souls up.
Oh, don't forget the Zenny and Gold bars, man.
Of course.
For those equip rerolls. Battleamore, man, how was your weekend?
Yeah, it's been good. I've been grinding a lot, gaining those souls, getting those Zennies.
Ironcane is proud.
Yes, sir.
And we got Mr. ZVG in the house. What's good, man?
Yo, what's up, boys?
So
Really
today, we're going to talk about, obviously, the new units, the new banner, the Ultra Gogeta banner coming back already. And also, Legends Battle Royale Extreme is going to start at next reset. So Monday morning, 7 a.m. Central European, I guess 1 a.m. Eastern time. And apparently there was also an Awakened Rival Universe / Universal Survival Saga equip. So we're going to talk about all that. But let's start. First things first. LF Jiren, did he come out of left field for you, DFree, and how do you like him?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, we're in that weird spot right now where it's like, what was it like? I don't remember exactly when, but this basically happens every year, you know, where it's like, okay, they're going to start maybe ramping up to another release, and it happens all the time. So I guess it kind of makes sense. And, you know, if you kind of think back with hindsight, maybe the first indicator that we were going to get more USS stuff as of recently anyway was Kale, which was like on Valentine's Day. But she also was kind of weird because she kind of like blurred the lines. We'd been getting girls / android stuff, so it would make sense to drop a Zenkai android or a Zenkai girl, things like that for Valentine's period. So on that topic, did I expect him? No. Would I have predicted him? Certainly not, especially not without UI Goku. Like I would never have picked him without UI Goku. But overall though, in terms of the second part, I actually like him a lot. I think he's pretty good, man.
So who do you play him with? What's your favorite team?
Well, I mean, in my tests with him, in my videos, I used him on numerous teams. I did Rival Universe. The video with Mono Purple's not out yet, but that's a team I tested him with. But the first couple of teams I tested him with was Powerful Opponent, and that was directly after he came out. So like this was just kind of like going in blind. I was like, you know what would be good characters to pair him with? And I circled a Powerful Opponent, which I guess it's kind of a cop-out calling it that when it's mainly just Friezas, because it's also lineage people,
Yeah.
but they're also Powerful Opponent. And so you run him on LOE basically, / Powerful Opponent in the leader slot particularly. And he's incredible. Like the Rising Rush control is insane. And you know, it could be counterintuitive to not let them get the Rising Rush because, you know, he doesn't get his extra perks. But if it's me, I'd rather just not have them use it at all because he has Rising Rush control. People don't want to rush him. Then you have access to the LF Frieza's ability to constantly destroy characters with endurance and stuff. Or you could build a defensive version where you've got the Zenkai Frieza, the full power one. You've got the Revive Frieza. You got this guy, and you got like all this Rising Rush control and stuff like that. Dragon Ball manipulation, you know, defensive utility, stuff like that. So that's where I thought he was best. Especially because Universe Survival kind of needs more stuff still, which obviously they're going to get. So we'll have to see how that ages.
So basically a lineage of Jiren.
Yeah, pretty like it's Powerful Opponent, but it's lineage at the same time. So
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly the same team I am playing him with, except that I think I have the purple Janemba as bench for him, and other than that, it's like
for Zenkai boost and stuff.
Yeah, and then it's just the 2 yellow Friezas, the blue Frieza, and then I put Shield on the bench as well for health restoration on all of them.
That's pretty much what I did. I think in that Zenkai spot, I had like Green Broly as an option because, you know, he's Frieza Force too, so he'd get some of those Z abilities and stuff. But like, I don't think I ever really ran him, but like what I did like with that team, like I said, was Jiren in and of himself is a character that's interesting in design. He is a character a lot of people don't want a Rising Rush, so he can make it through most of the match without that. There is a flaw in that mechanic that I've discerned as well that I don't love, but nonetheless, pairing him with characters like the Friezas is really good. And also like LF Frieza in particular. You know, some matches you bring him, some matches you bring double yellow, some matches you bring the other Frieza, but LF Frieza is, and by LF I mean full power, he is a real threat to Jiren and alongside him.
True. Yeah, I guess it's like his natural enemy.
Yeah, well, Frieza's a character that seems to get better consistently. He was kind of underrated, and now he's just like insane. He keeps getting better with more releases. So
Fair.
I was gonna ask you guys, do you think the green card is like a consistent way to get feints? If you guys even use that, or do you think it's kind of spotty?
it's designed to be spotty. But what I will say is that like I do and don't like the design choice of the blue / ultimates. Don't they both do more damage if the enemy is fainted?
Yeah, they do.
So like sometimes you're gonna get that, sometimes you're not. But feint is such a powerful mechanic. I get why it is the way it is, right?
Yeah.
I honestly
But
don't.
it's not consistent at all. And there are issues with that green card functioning the way it does, especially if you're not landing the feint. It would be a little better if it functioned something like Oobs, but like also having the chance to feint and nullify cover is like too much. I mean, Jiren picks up nullify cover later on, potentially anyway. But like it's a combo starter that's easy to kind of avoid, so to speak, unless you're big braining and drop comboing, etc. So, but what I'll say about that last thing before I move on, or kind of let one of you guys kind of jump in, is with the green card, an underrated aspect of it is it gives the buff or a chance to feint to the next card that he uses. He doesn't have to use it then and there. You can switch him out. You can do whatever. You don't have to actually use it there. So it's available at any point.
Speaking of big brain,
Right, like that's one thing that's really underrated. A lot of people probably didn't catch and probably won't catch for some time. You don't have to use a card right there. You know, you can use whatever. You can do whatever. So
green
and
card
have that
switch
chance
out.
for
Okay.
later.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that in the middle of my fight when I used the green card, but I had no cards to put, and then I swap
Yeah.
out. And when I did swap him in and attack with a strike, I fainted. I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
I was
it's
so
crazy,
surprised.
actually. Great utility.
So I didn't really think it actually carries over, even though he switched to standby. I thought it was like only when he's on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this could even catch you as a player off guard, right? It's like, oh, he's fainted, and you just keep comboing. It's like, okay, you just don't capitalize on it. But sometimes it's just like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah. And it only activates twice. So by that same vein, you can waste it, right? Like if you're trying to like big brain and drop combo or something, but you stay with Jiren, and obviously if they evade it, that's one of your chances gone. So like it's
True.
not reliable in the first place because the chance is so low. But it also can just be completely worthless depending on how you play.
Yeah, I actually completely forgot about the fact, like, even though you see that he gets that faint extra buff, I just never bank on it anyways, because it's just like, what is it, 30% you said?
Yeah, it's really low.
Yeah.
I mean, that's high relative to how much you'd like to actually have faint effects land. It's normal, normal number with like ultimates or blues, whatever, whenever there's faint applied. But still, it's not something like the question was, is it reliable? And no, I use Jiren a lot, and I only got it like once every like 4 or 5 matches.
I mean, do you
I think
remember
what
the
I-
Green Trunks? I think his feint was like 5% on strikes or something. So every like 20th card on average.
He would never get that 20th card because he has -1 to card draw speed anyway. But yeah. But yeah, what I like about this Dream is the fact that even though he has like the fate mechanic and he gets buffs when he uses a Rising Rush, he doesn't need any of that because he's still good without them using the rush and without getting the feint up. I think that's what his design is, just very good. I mean, he gets damage when he comes in, 90% when the battle starts, 40% up to 4 times when he enters the battlefield, along with 50 key and everything. 70% reduced damage. His kid's just great. His green card, as DFree said, is kind of, I wouldn't say it's one of the less annoying AoE green cards in the game because you really can't do too much after landing other than the feint, right? Because if you do have a cover change, you can just swap in and just cover the next card, right? Which Oob is different because Oob just nullifies the cover change, so that's why it's very powerful. But I think he's very good blast armor, rush control. I like his restrictions a lot better than Bardock's because he gets the endurance once they pop a rush, nobody has to die for him to get the endurance. He can just take the resurrection himself and then just get endurance on top of that. So I like him a lot. He's very good. He's very powerful, and I think he's on the best units in the game right now, easily in my opinion.
I was gonna say before, I actually had a funny story with this Jiren. Like the night he was added, I hopped in PvP to get that that win bonus. And I actually fought against the Jiren, and he had a decent amount of stars, and it turned out to be like a 1v1 me against the Jiren, and I rushed him, and I put my phone down. I'm like, oh dude, I won that match, awesome. And then I look back and I see lose on my screen. I'm like, dude, how the hell did that happen? And then of course he gets endurance on his whenever you pop a rush. And I totally forgot about that. So the fact that he does have rising rush control is definitely a really cool mechanic. I'm curious if they're going to add it to other characters or if they're going to make this more of an exclusive thing. But it makes Legends a lot more or less mindless that you can just, get your 7 cards, rush, you're in and out. With Jiren, you actually got to think about it.
Yeah, I played a lot of matches where Jiren just outright completely shut down rising rushes for most of the match. Those are matches that would go long enough to where both players are launching 2 or maybe even a 3rd rush. Like these matches are going to timer type deal, especially with LOE because all their matches are like that. Especially have like a mirror match or something. It's like the longest matches ever since regen meta. But Jiren just outright was able to knock that down. And I mentioned earlier that there is, because I noticed it after so many matches, there is a flaw with that. And that is, for one, we talked about like characters like LF Frieza that always nullify. They're free to do whatever they want to do. Or a character like Ultra Gogeta who gets the 30 count nullify on anything, after ult, that's fine. Other characters that get it for a short amount of time, maybe you dodge their ultimate and then they go straight into a rush. I had that happen to me and I couldn't switch and I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna actually get nullified here because the effect is still active for 3 counts. So that's more normal, but the play design is interesting because with Jiren, when he gets low on HP, he is in a position where he's just a regular character. He can't really do much in terms of avoiding getting defeated at that point. You have to really cover for him and protect him. And you're not used to having to play that way with a character that has endurance or revive because they're able to obviously go beyond the threshold and sustain. Jiren is not able to do that. So if you can get him, whittle him down, get him low, then you'll be okay. I mean, he has healing on the green. I assume he has it on main as well. He also has last man standing healing. So like he is able to sustain that way. But I noticed like he's in a lot of trouble if he gets low on HP, and there has not been a rush activated. So it's interesting because again, he is a endurance character, just not always. So
I have to say that I like that. That's a double-edged sword because this way, there's a way if you're a good player or if you just know how to play around them that you can, as you said, just whittle them down. And if you don't pay attention, then well, I guess you're screwed. But if you do pay attention, then there's a good way to just counteract his mechanics. And I feel like that should be the way, like the whole rock, paper, scissors thing.
Yeah. I think the way that is meant to go, at least not in like Jiren versus Jiren matches, is ideally, your Jiren is not, their enemy's not rushing because they don't want to give Jiren the freaking paragraph of buffs he gets when they activate a rush. So, I mean, like, I understand perfectly why you wouldn't want to do it. And then obviously if you're not versus the Jiren, you're using yours. So that's the win-win, right? So that's the way to kind of maybe take advantage of that and not get in the position like that.
I mean, I find Jiren very interesting. It's just that his base stats is kind of low, but it covers it with the power-ups from his abilities.
Yeah.
I just feel like with not enough base stats, he's not doing that much damage in the beginning.
Jiren has that
I disagree.
mechanic where he also gets the 40% damage whenever he enters the battlefield. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
40% for 15 counts 4 times.
Yeah.
So like reasonably speaking, you're not going to get more than like a couple of those stacks. So I can understand why at like a low star number, also with him not being last man. So like that's the thing with Jiren's damage. Like he has the 90%. He's got some extra damage versus Saiyans. The thing with him is like some of it is situational, right? Post rush, he gets the extra damage. He gets the extra damage whenever he enters the battlefield. Again, it stacks up to 4 times. I don't know how you're getting 4 stacks out of that, but to each their own. But then, like, if they're fainted, you're doing extra damage, right? You're doing like 70% extra blue damage, things like that. So, you know, that's where maybe his damage could be unimpressive. And some of the stuff is timed, like I said, the 15 counts. So he's interesting.
I mean, I really do like the character. It also makes him more for interesting fights because people are afraid to Rising Rush, and sometimes it leads to no Rising Rush fights, and that is the good part if both have Jiren.
Yeah.
Yeah, until one person is just like, screw it. Here you go, and clicks the golden button.
Unless you combine the Jiren with the full power Frieza, then that's over the table.
Big brain. Yeah, but honestly, I also have to say, as ZVG also said, I disagree that his damage is unimpressive. Because, I mean, okay, my Jiren is now red too, but at 7 stars, I felt like he did really good damage, even to yellows. With all his buffs and everything, and that's pre-Rising Rush too. I don't think it's that bad.
The only time I felt like my Jiren did bad damage was in my initial video. And it wasn't even always. It was just in my initial video, still learning the character. It's like understanding when he's at his best versus when he's not. And then secondly, obviously, lower stars is going to always be a thing. In my initial video, he's 3-star versus my next one, he's at 6, and it made a nice difference. And that's just how the game is. So,
oh yeah, that's true.
but I think one thing also to consider with Jiren is that he is a ranged character. So he is getting these different buffs here where his blasts do a good amount more damage. So I think with him, and Frieza suffers from this too, in terms of player perception, because they have blast armor, you know, you think they're maybe supposed to do more strike damage, but really his blasts do a ton more damage.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I noticed that too.
I want to ask you guys, like, if you're fighting a Jiren, like, what advice would you guys give the players? Like, what's the best time to rush, if at all?
If he
The
switched
best
out
time
right
to
away.
rush is best time to rush is when Jiren is not there. Because then right, you don't want to rush the character that's endurance. You want to get somebody out so you can be at the advantage, like, you know, in a 3v2 situation or like a 2v1, right? You want to always have that number advantage. So I'd say you just unless you have LF full power Frieza, which can just rush anybody you want to, right? But generally, you want to rush like when Jiren is not on the battlefield, and then just use his endurance with like an ultimate or something like that. Because, you know, most ults in the game do nullify endurance. So if you can win him down, pop the main, get the ult up, then Jiren will probably dead by then. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you just got to be careful. Like, for example, in my setup, if I play him with full power Frieza, the LF and the blue Frieza, just keep in mind that some characters manipulate sub count. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you just swap them out, go for it if you get the combo. But if you're not sure he has him back and you don't have an endurance nullification character, then no.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, that's where you like. I was gonna say that's where you you draw your main, do a quick little drop so they can evade it, and then pull that rush right then and there.
Yeah, that's also a good play. Or if you want to do the chat thing, just rush anyway. You know, like just press the rush anyway. Just say, okay, I don't care if you're endurance, I'm gonna rush you anyway. I'm gonna farm up a second one. Like, because in some games it's better to just rush off the bat than, you know, have it there just sitting there, right? Because by the time you pop your first rush, you could probably potentially have a second rush, bro. Like, you know.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Well, that's why I said that, you know, ideally with the match, if you're using Jiren, the match goes, you know, they're not using a rush, but you're using one, maybe even two, and you just win the match, right? Because he's got, like I said, a paragraph. Nobody wants to give him all that crap. Damage, nullify cover, nobody wants to give him that crap. So, like, that's why he's such a threat to the Rising Rush. But if you're versus him, I mean, yeah, like always, you want to, you know, rush the non-endurance character and just match up with Jiren accordingly. Unless, like ZVG said, you've got LF full power where he just rushes wherever.
Funny enough, I feel like he is the only unit that is still being played in this meta that has that. If you remember, like the Legends Festival meta, we still had Rosé being on, you know, lots of those future teams, but he just disappeared.
Bro,
guess with
Rosé
the-
is
I ran into one of him and I was like,
unusable.
oh crap. I remember the last second, I was like, oh crap, I actually can't let this rush hit.
Rosé is like honestly like unusable, bro. Like
he's
he's
trash.
he's so bad. He's terrible.
Doesn't King Piccolo have it too? So he's another
yeah.
one that could be, but he's
The
not.
region is
He's
so
good
in the
enough.
water now. It doesn't even matter if
Yeah,
if he has
region is in the mud right
Region.
now,
Yeah.
Region is suffering right now.
unfortunately, because that was my region team was yellow, green with the LF Piccolo, the Zenkai DKP, and Fat Boo, but not
Yeah.
now. And I'm guessing with the resurgence of LOE, 2 yellows, nobody's gonna bring that purple rosé.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's some more that are just kind of like there. Don't like both of the sparking hits do it and
Yeah.
Rildo and it's like
Yes.
stuff that nobody's using.
Real dough.
DFree said hit, bro. I'm dead.
Yeah.
Duel Meister.
But that's why Ultra Gogeta is such a damn menace. Why does he get it for 30 counts, dude? Twice.
60 counts if you count the second
Yeah.
ultimate.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah,
like,
twice.
dude,
Because
why?
he's Ultra Gogeta. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, we are seeing a second character that on the screen right now that came with this banner, and obviously that was Mr. Beerus. And we were all hyped about the endurance nullification, or maybe worried, or we don't even know. We
Revive
respect
notification. fam.
Revive. Also endurance, but yes, you're right, a revive. And we were scared, like, hey, is that going to be a terrible mechanic? Is it going to be changing the meta, ZVG? Now that we know the unit, what do you think?
I don't think it's as big of a deal as I initially thought it would be. I think the thing is, right, a good player will not let that scenario happen in the first place, because I think the biggest threat he has, right, is when if your revival character is at below 50% HP, then Beerus pops the green card and locks you in, then you're dead. Right, but if you're a good player, you can see that coming and swap out, but then if you swap out, you can also get rushed. So it's like Beerus is very oppressive in that sense, but I think in generally speaking, he's good. Like even like just take out the revive notification and he's still great. Like that's just a bonus. Like his damage is fantastic. His debuffs when he enters battlefield is also great. That dude, every unit in the game, like every team has somebody that reduces the health restore, which is very annoying for someone like myself who runs Goku Vegeta. Like every team has some way to just stop the healing, which is great because that does counter GV, in a sense, right? But I think Beerus is very powerful offensively, but defensively he's nothing to be a scared. Like he can easily get one combo by most units in the game. His defense is kind of bad, and that's kind of due to his stats being low. Also his cover cut, his reduced damage cut also being low. I think it's like 30%, which is kind of like
It's 50.
You need to have like at least 50%. Like 30% has been a norm
he
for
has
way too
50
long
cut.
now. Oh, he has 50?
Sorry to cut you off.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
It's a
it's
stat
cut.
thing if he's not tanking its stats.
yeah.
stars.
His stats are kind of bad, but overall, I think he's great. Him killing the unit and getting Dragon Balls and everything else is kind of like it's a nice touch, but it's not something like consistent. But overall, I think he's great. I think his green card is very powerful. His blue card is also very powerful. Overall, he's one of the best offensive units in the game. He does suffer defensively, but most units do in the current meta where every unit does insane damage anyway. So I think it's great. I think he makes Gaki a lot better, but Gaki's still missing that one final piece of like having somebody to like take a rise and rush, which obviously they don't have, other than Clapco, which sucks. So,
Crap, cool.
yeah, but I think Beerus is very, very, very good. Like easily, probably you could say he's the best 1% sparking in the game. You could say he's better than if I were Frieza, right? I mean, it's up to debate. They're very similar, offensively and stuff. So yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, the God of Destruction Beerus is a very interesting character. With all the buffs he has and with only 5 timer count main ability is just insane. Just giving card draw speed and opponent cannot cover cut. You can do all your combos right away if you want to. If opponent is not thinking really straight and have like cover chains like twice and cannot switch, Beerus can easily one combo and lock you in. It's just interesting. He do lock in once with his green card once opponent is 50% or below, and he gets a lot of key and the card draw speed. Not card draw speed. He gets a blue card twice. But the damage this Beerus dealt is comparable to the most recent units that is LFs, and that is just insane.
Yeah, especially
I
since you
think
can
it's-
juice him.
Yeah, it's like it's a 1% sparking unit that you can use. That feels like a unit that came from an anniversary or something. It feels even better than an anniversary unit if we think about
Kefla?
I mean, it's not really hard to be better than the 1% that came out in University. I mean, we had Aishen on, the new Terra powerful. So, yeah.
Yeah,
but-
Ice is on a whole other level of power, so I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, Beerus, he does just insane strike damage. It's all focused on that, and he still does insane blast damage too. And the fact that he's a blue unit gives him a bonus because there is not a lot of blue units in Gaki. And there is a total of 4 now with Beerus, and yeah.
Well, I will say, to his detriment and any other Blues' detriment, is that red is heavily in the mud right now. But we know that won't last.
Yeah, that will be coming back soon, we
Yeah.
think. But
I mean, they've got to circle back to some red units.
yeah,
Maybe.
But, just think
It's
about
already
this.
starting right now, honestly. With,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
LOE on the rise, like I've started using Red Bojack again because LOE is just full power freezer, and
Yeah.
that that Zenka full power freezer too is just annoying as
Yeah,
hell.
yeah.
And
You
so-
absolutely need a red on the team. The problem is that the roster isn't
yeah,
particularly
the roster is
great
like
anymore.
I mean, Abe Jita is like
Yeah.
the best red on certain teams, which is terrible. So yeah, we do need more reds in the meta.
What I also have to say, since you're saying red is in the mud, green is also not very strong right now. So I feel like it's still fine to bring Beerus because I think the only green units you're gonna consistently run into are Zamasu and Rose assist.
Who?
And
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna
Forget
say it.
Mr. Four?
I'm
You
not gonna
mean
say it.
Zim
ZVG.
Zam?
No,
You
no,
mean Zim Zam? Yes, sir.
get out of here.
Samasu with assist with either Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. That's what we're going to see a lot.
Oh yeah, true
But,
him.
I feel like
SS4
this
Gogeta's
Beerus-
in every damn match, so
True. Forgot
yeah,
about, and
but
still I
just-
forgot him.
Just think about this. This Beerus is this good, and we have not faced the many red units, and he is this good. It just that just proves that if you face a red unit, he can easily just one strike and just do a lot of damage. And it's just
yeah.
insane also that he heals every time he uses strike card, like 3%, I think.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
it-
also has healing in other parts of his kit, doesn't he?
yeah, he has on his main, he has on his green. It's just
The green, yeah. Beerus is a character that, to summarize Beerus very easily, he's a character that has literally everything you'd want in a character built in. The only thing he's missing is something like endurance, but he's got every damn thing else. He's got draw speed, he's got no switch, he's got the endurance and also revive nullify, which is a whole new thing, but still you'd want it if you can have it. He's got everything. So this guy is a major threat and extremely powerful, especially in the right circumstance, right? With actually, he's got nullify, special cover, like he's got everything. But especially in the right circumstance, as ZVG pointed out, like, after the green, below threshold, gonna do the no switch. He draws a freaking blue card, just like he's gonna get you. You're done. If you allow that to happen, you're done. He's gonna nullify you. Another underrated thing in his kit is all the sub-count manipulation. His main reduces his own by 3, and he also inflicts the enemies with the debuff when the battle start of +1. So, like, you got to think about how that adds up for those first 30 to 40 counts via unique or main ability, depending on obviously when you use the main. But you got to think about how that adds up to you not being able to switch, and then Beerus switching a lot. And on top of that, though, Beerus has this design choice where you, for one, struggle to switch in the first place. He also can do a literal no switch. And if he's going to get a kill out there, which is going to be obviously very likely because there's not a character that's going to, at low health anyway, live through his blue card because he's going to nullify everything. He's going to get the kill, and then he's going to reload his hand. He reduces the enemy's key. Like, he's got a lot of things built into his kit. And, he's a character that has the draw speed, the card cost down, the just high damage output in the first place. But he is built in a way that also, if you sub versus him, you get penalized, which is not something we see a ton in the game. It's not to the extent of a character like Zenkai 18 as an extreme, but you get penalized because you lose ki and you buff Beerus, his blue card damage and his actual damage. So like, it's a really weird situation to be in on the other side of Beerus overall. He is definitely a major threat. And I think some people are probably underwhelmed by him, but I think most of that is just Beerus being at low star counts. Like, again, like I pointed out, there's no way around it. But like when characters get at a higher star count, they're obviously going to be a lot better. And Beerus is one that's going to just scale like crazy with that blue card and just the amount of damage he'll be able to output.
Also, how many fun times you hit the blue card on a revive unit and kills him.
Yeah. So like if you get the kill, you get the Dragon Ball and the benefits, right? So like there's a lot of perks built into Beerus's kit, you know, and you know the health restoration debuff, like all these different things that you would want to have in characters that are trying to exist in the current climate of characters. He's got it. He's extremely useful and very good.
Yeah, it also helps that his C ability is kind of unique, similar to Gogeta, that gives special move damage.
Oh yeah, you're right. I totally forgot that.
And with that, it's actually pretty good because Universal Survivor Saga did get a lot of buffs now with Jiren and Beerus.
And Zenkai 7Z Kale.
Do you really count her as a buff?
If Battleamore said
Z
kill,
tier.
bro, we would
Did
have
you
to
not see my
kick him off
tweet
the
or my
podcast.
newest video? She's Z tier.
I did not get the memo. No, my bad.
Yeah, she's something else. I'll just say on behalf of Kale, I don't think she's as bad as she gets memed for being, but I don't think she's good. Obviously, I don't think she's as bad as she gets credit for being. But
You're
she's
right.
got a different.
She's
play
worse.
style. I think Kale's one of the weird characters where it's like she could have been so much better, and they gave us that. But like, I'm not gonna complain about it because really, this is what people wanted from Zenkais in the first place. When they were dominating the game. So like I'm not mad at it by any means. Also, she's got the weird playstyle where she definitely you don't really want to use her main as some delayed stop clock antic. You want to just pop that thing ASAP and go, you know? So that's also not how players want to play either, among the higher ranks anyway.
True.
But I'll just kind of just throw back to this on the topic of Beerus. I don't remember who all was on that podcast, but remember I pointed out they're gonna eventually drop an anti-revive character. I know me, Rai, I think Goresh was on that. Obviously, I think Palm was on that. I don't know who all was on that. Dude, I don't know if any of you guys remember that podcast. I just was like, it's gonna happen. I think at that time it was only Cell too, but it was like, it's gonna happen. Yeah, maybe Goku was out, but it's like, it's gonna happen. So here we are. How do you guys feel about it?
I mean, I feel like it's a good addition. At least it's not on the kit that you can just Rising Rush and Revive unit and that they cannot activate their ability. At least it has to be activated on a blue card. It has to be conditioned.
Well, I mean, that's not really all that bad given how easy it is for him to get green or blues, right? Like, that's fine. I thought it was going to be restricted, like he needs to be last man standing or something. No, they just said, here, do it whenever you want.
But I think
I
think it's not that bad, honestly. I think it's like because I usually have a go on, you know, on my main team, but I'm found myself in a ton of situations where I did lose him, but I have found situations where I absolutely did lose it because I underestimated versus damage. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna die, but then I just died, and I was like, okay, well, he's just gone now. Okay, that's a little bit more, you know, interesting than the norm. So I think it's the way they implemented it isn't as bad as I thought, but you know, if they put on a character that, you know, like GV, like if somebody like if a unit came out and they were like Z tier, like Goku Vegeta, and they had that, then probably be a big issue. But Beerus, I mean, it's fine in my opinion. It's not
Well, I think a reason also why it's not as big of a deal is revives never really became super, you know, mainstream, for lack of a better term. Like there's only like a handful of them in the game, and at least a couple of them are not good at all, you know. So like
who would that be? Crap, cool.
Gohan.
Cell, dude. Cell.
Gohan. I did a video of anti-revive characters. I forgot he existed, which sucks coming from a Gohan fan. I totally forgot that existed.
Oh, you're talking about the green one, right? That took a little bit for me to remember.
Yeah, the green one, of course. The purple one is fine. But even then, like he is like hidden. You don't even see him in matches anymore. So like I think that helps the claim where it's like it's not that big of a deal because they're not that. Like, I mean, when Cell came out, it was like so game changing, and he's pretty bad by today's standards. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. I think the biggest threat now is still just the endurance characters, right? And we see that with Jiren and them finding new ways to even implement that mechanic in the first place. So,
Yep.
I mean, it's not anything new, but if the character has it versus doesn't, it's just a lot better to have.
Yeah, true. I think that is the reason why they put the nullification on endurance as well on the blue card. So they have a variety on both revive and endurance. So it counts as like the both things.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the anti-revive is, and this is a huge difference between that and anti-endurance is it's the design of the characters, right? Because with anti-endurance, it's like, okay, well, the character was already at their peak anyway. Anti-revive says you just get the crappy version of the character that was like meant to die in the first place. Like Goku is just like extremely bad, and he doesn't get much better, but he's extremely bad pre. And it's like, okay, well, that was a waste of my time, right? You don't get the good version of that character. So I think that was also why people are and were opposed to that line of thinking in the first place.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's
like
also...
Cell, for example, pre and post, he is way better post.
Yeah.
But that's something that all of them suffer from. I think Gohan Purple is solid pre, but he's obviously better post. Like you just don't get that character anymore.
Yep.
I mean,
it doesn't happen.
I feel like the only one that feels like good on early is the Kid Gohan, the green one.
What?
Isn't he the only one that doesn't draw green on main? Don't they all draw green on main?
They do, but I do. But I feel like with the green Kid Gohan, you have cover change, and it kind of helps a lot.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
But that's pretty much all he has.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, at least it helps because kind of needs help.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, also like Asdeek was just writing in chat, still don't entirely agree with anti-revival, but it is what it is. And I feel like I thought it would make more of a splash too. The thing is, they did the same with anti-endurance. So
yep.
I definitely don't put it past them to release a character like Full Power Frieza against Revival. I just hope that they never release one that has both, where you're just like, oh, I got a rush, click.
Yeah, I agree. That would be horrifying.
But then imagine you have Full Power Frieza alongside the other character that nullifies Revival, and then you always got to do the mental gymnastics when you get rushed. It's like, wait, who is he rushing with? Who am I throwing in? Revival, endurance? It's the wrong one. It always happens. Just click the wrong character. But yeah, as you said earlier, like you just don't get the kit, you don't get that second half, and sometimes the second half is exactly what you want. And that's kind of, and also obviously like who is not going to miss that 5-minute long cutscene where Gohan gets rescued by Goku and transforms.
Believe in yourself, Gohan.
I mean, think about how much better Gohan gets post. He gets the AoE green. He's got the freaking one-hit nuke blue card he draws. Yeah. Think how much better he gets. You just don't even get it.
You just don't get it.
Yeah, I think what people got to understand though is just like normally when they introduce like a mechanic like endurance or revival, they normally eventually, right? It's normally not like out the gate, but they do eventually create some way to counteract that in some way. So I mean, it just creates more of an interesting play style, like more mind games in PvP, which is always nice. My main concern, of course, is like you guys are mentioning, is this something they're just going to give the characters for free? Is it always going to be on blues? Is it going to be on like a strikes or blast in the future? Like how exclusive are they going to make this mechanic? I think is like the real question.
Well, I mean, like, sorry to cut you off there. I didn't mean to. If you're not done, okay.
You're good.
You pointed it out, but like what they like to do is, and this is just general, business in general, not just gotchas. This is in general business, is create a problem and give you the solution or sell you the solution. Excuse me. So like you can trace this back to endurance, and you can see how that anti-mechanic has been implemented, whether it's also still sparingly on passives, like we've raved about LF Frieza throughout the pod, but it's mainly on ultimates, but most characters get it on ultimate, so it's not like it's a rare thing anymore like it used to be. But you could also take a look at something like the special cover changes. You know how that mechanic was implemented, and it's like, okay, it's just on what, Vegito Blue's ultimate only, and then it turned to being accessible through main abilities, I believe, for some period of time, and now it's just on character passives. I mean, like, it's still restricted, even like as recently as Jiren needing to get it via rush. But like, they've loosened the reins on that mechanic too, where it's like, this is an incredibly oppressive and one of the best offensive mechanics in the entire game, and they've turned it into being, oh, you could just get it just for like SS4 Goku or SS Blue Gogeta. It's just like, you just get it, you know, just for existing type deal. So I assume, to a degree, something similar would happen to any mechanic introduced in this game, whether it's revival, whether it's the tags, gauges. I assume something similar eventually will happen to all of these mechanics. And that's just normal design, you know?
Yeah, like nowadays it's actually weird if an ultimate doesn't have like endurance nullification, right? You're more
and
like, wait, he
blast
doesn't
armor,
have that?
because they all have blast armor too.
And that too, yeah, true. Or like if a
Like,
main ability doesn't restore ki if you draw an ult, for example, right?
Yep.
Evo
That's
Vegeta.
the most glaring thing when I do my videos and I showcase these old characters. I'm like, oh, I'm so used to characters entering the battlefield and getting like at least 20 ki to keep the combo alive, or like drawing the main and getting enough ki to use the ultimate. There are just things that are like, that have progressed as the game has progressed, and they are there for a reason. And at the same time, all these mechanics that they've introduced, to lack of a better term, frustrate us, will also get countered, or they'll find ways to introduce something that'll make things a little easier to play against these characters. I mean, as recently as, and again, ZVG pointed this out, but like as recently as the tag characters coming out, if you notice, since the tag characters come out, a couple of things have happened. Well, most importantly, one thing. Pretty much every damn character that's dropping has a health restoration debuff. Seriously, all of them.
True.
So like, that's a clear, pointed, you know, effort at trying to pull them down just a little bit, you know? And that's one way that they're trying to find a way to kind of counteract those characters. And it's no accident that, I don't know if he's the only one, but one of the green characters we've gotten since their release, the Kaioken Goku, had the anti-purple stuff built into it. It's no accident. They designed these characters a certain way, as you would expect. So like, you've got to think with foresight, like anything they drop in this game, any mechanic, will either be loosened up, or in terms of countering it, or just outright countered in general. So that's why, to circle back to my initial question, it's not really surprising that we do have anti-revive, even if it does suck that you don't get the second half of the character.
You know what the funny thing is? Sometimes they actually counter the counter to the counter. Like, remember when Super 17's ultimate was, you know, so toxic, and then you had, all of a sudden, you had units that had immunity to a certain number of debuffs, like 3 or something.
Yep.
Like, for example, Zenkai Red Gogeta. And then when Zenkai Super 17 came around, he's like, nah, let me just take that away real quick.
Yeah, that was another thing. The ability to cancel buff effects is like... They find ways, man. They find ways. But I'm extremely happy about the like nullification of like those effects just in general, because Hercule is such an annoyance, dude.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Dude, just use... Yeah, and then some units, they
is so
just use a green
random.
card. And you're like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm safe.
Or you bring like SS4 Gogeta, who's just immune in the front. Like,
Yeah.
just, oh my god.
Yep.
That guy, like, he always pops up with the most handholdy characters. Always has. Like, it's Kale, or not Kale, excuse me. Android 18, when she was like the meta,
Yeah.
it's like the most handholdy character in the game. Now it's stupid Ultra Gogeta, who just plays the game for you. I've never seen a character like Ultra Gogeta who says, here, you want to do that? Go for it. Whatever you want to do, just do it.
Yeah, it's also usually they
So-
just like, if they have like Ultra Gogeta, they just like Hercule immediate switch into Ultra Gogeta and then just strike right away.
That guy, like, he just like was just the ultimate handhold character in the game. He has everything. So like, obviously you pair Hercule with like, and at a time it was Kefla too, Green Kefla, when she was the meta. Hercule is just like, so like, oh my god. So I'm very happy that they introduced that mechanic.
Fair enough. All right, so this banner actually brought us 2 more units. So for the first time in a long time, outside of, you know, like a celebration, we got an LF banner with 2 new Sparkings and 2 new Extremes. And who better to talk about the Extremes than our man for the niche teams, Battleamore? Have you used both Topo and Dispo? And are they usable at all, in your opinion?
I have used both of them, yes. And I find Topo more useful than Dispo for the reason of the support abilities, and the green card that Topo does is just insane. Like, Topo's green card destroyed both hands, and I was like, that can end combos really good. I was so surprised that his blue card also gives ally key recovery. I just find it that Topo is more, even though he's a support unit, he still tanks really well. Even though his stat is not really that good. The same with Dispo. Oh my god, Dispo stats, why are you so weak?
Because crits.
But I feel like Dispo, yeah, it's focusing more on crits with Dispo, which I find very odd. It's a new way of introducing how EX does things, but we all have felt the fear of Bardock, and I was like, why? Why crits? Oh, at least it wasn't on a Super Saiyan unit. At least I'm happy about that. But yeah, Dispo is good too on his own. I mean, he can shorten sub counts, and Topos shortens Universe 11 sub count when he enters the field. So Dispo can easily just come back and just continue with the combo, lock you in with the main. It's just too bad on one thing is that Dispo is not doing that much damage, even though with all of these combos. I mean, the combination with the Topo is at least for either you using the new LF Jiren, or if you're using God of Destruction Topo, like you can do the combination there instead, because he has a support ability and he does give buffs that helps the team a lot. Also, it's one of the EX unit that gives triple C abilities, which is really good, like giving both strike and blast defense,
and triple tag.
Then tag rival universe additional blast attack.
No.
Yes, Topo. If we're just thinking about Topo, he's a really good support for Universe 11. If you have seen the team Topo has been with the Bardock and the Jajirobe, I was so shocked it works so well. Because of Topo's green card destroying the entire hands of both people.
It's like the Hercule green card, right? The red Hercule does the same thing, I think.
Yeah, but he can literally just do the entire combos of everything, and then just use the green card, and the opponent cannot do the entire combo. They have to wait. Unless you have like 2 times card draw speed or 1 time card draw speed, then you get card easily. That green card is busted. Even if you don't do it your own, it inflicts enemy that strike and blast increases, but also destroying it. It just, like, for example, if opponent tackles and you use the green, they don't have any cards. They don't have any cards.
Lucy just mentioned in chat, just use the green card and then swap out, because he gives -1 to card draw speed when he swaps out. So that's fun.
He has a support ability and debuff when he switched to standby, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I feel like Topo compared to Dispo is a much better just ability wise and tankiness wise, because his main ability heals the team too and gives them damage buff. And it only takes 10 timer counts, while Dispo is the one who's trying to deal damage. But from what I've seen from Dispo's kit, he needs to be like swapped in and swapped out before he gets his full ability.
Yeah.
Because it kind of stacks up with the crits and power. But he does have a support ability which gives 15% damage for 10 timer count. That is not a long time, and EX units kind of need more better stats if they want to survive against the Sparking unit, especially Ultra Gogeta. It's kind of hard to just use a unit that is focused on the damage that is an EX unit, but they cannot tank really well.
I think with Dispo, a couple things need to be said about him. Is, for one, he directly needs to be ran alongside Topo, because there's no other, like, even like Vados is still a solid support, you know, but you're not going to color stack. There's nobody else on his teams that you're going to run him alongside. Because Topo offering the crit rate as well is like a mandatory thing for Vados, or not Vados, excuse me, for Dispo, because Dispo needs critical hits, and not just critical hits. He needs critical hit damage increases as well, which he gets throughout his kit. And also he needs to switch a couple of times to be able to get that, which, you know, also having a shortened sub count by default and then having Topo reducing the sub count another 2 is mandatory. That's why he's designed the way that he is. You know, Topo is a character that could, you know, extend to other teams or have other allies a little bit better than this guy would. He has to function with Topo on his team. It's not much of a product of Jiren, but he needs Topo, which is also why Topo color counters for him. So like, if you're not getting that optimal scenario, he's just not going to be particularly great. He also does have in his kit some nice things like, you know, no switching, destroys the hand and then reloads the hand, picks up ki, he has health gain. So like, there's potential for him to do stuff. He gets another 30% crit damage on the blue card that he has. He has some debuffs built into his kit as well for the enemy for extra blast damage. He changes his strikes to blast. Like he's got, and also minus blast start cost. Like he's got his own things, but he is not going to be able to compete without Topo specifically. So obviously Topo is the better one for that reason alone when comparing these two characters, outside of the fact that Topo is just better in general. So you covered Topo perfectly. That's why I haven't really said much about him. I think he's actually really good, and he's got all the support intangibles you need from the characters that are supposed to be support characters on your teams in construction. But if you're not, just on the topic of Dispo, if you don't have him, obviously, and again, I've said it a lot of times, nobody should be surprised. If you don't have him at least at a high star level, especially a damage dealing EX character, he's not going to be able to do much for you. And I think with them designing him, I almost wonder what level of star they considered him at when they did their testing for him, like, or characters in general. What level they consider them? They consider them at 7? They consider them at 6, 5? Like, what, obviously not 5, maybe like 3, 14. Where do they consider these characters? Because a crit buff only for himself in particular is not going to do it. Like, there's more from the Topo kit, but the likelihood of critting is okay, but getting more crit damage is mandatory to really see a character pop off. And I wonder if they kind of looked at him as a character that's like a Bardock light for himself individually, which I don't think is the case for Dispo.
Yeah, especially when Dispo has no equip that gives him crit at all. So it doesn't really help there either, even though the crit-based equip is kind of not good. But still, if they want to focus on the crits, they should at least have some equips that gives him crit. I know some have, but that is melee types, not on the range type, which Dispo is.
Doesn't he have like 45% crit chance though with a switch from Topo?
Yes, but if
something
they really,
like that, right?
If they really want to make more of a chance of hitting with crits, they need to make more crits equipped. But
but
I'm saying that like having nearly 50% is probably about as good as it gets. And then, on the blue cards, after a couple of switches, he does have a 50% crit damage increase. And then there's other things, like I said, like no switching, card reload, a key gain, card changing, debuffs, and also card cost down. Like, he's got nearly everything you want a damage dealer to have, except for draw speed in particular, but he has a full reload once. So, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, I feel like this Dispo and this Topo was built for a special event that is soon about to come, as we're going to talk about that soon.
Yeah.
But I feel like because it's going to be all 14 star, I think that is how they play tested it.
Yeah,
So,
Let's see. Because like right now in PvP, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get hit by a crit from that 14-star Dispo. I'm so scared. Sleep.
Yeah. So when I asked about testing, I meant just a general sense of where do they consider these characters at? Because some of them are busted even at low star levels, like EX Jiren. He's really powerful, and he has blast armor. So like, and then Tora and Fasha were really good, but they were clearly designed to be ran alongside the Bardock and to make him shine the most. Whereas these two, you would think would be designed to be ran alongside the Jiren, but there's nothing really there in particular. I mean, there's some extra things that Topo has for his universe, but they're not hyper focused on making Jiren better the same way the other two were hyper focused on making Bardock better. So
unless they are trying to focus more on the future when there is more Universe 11 characters about to come.
Yeah, maybe, but the way I see these characters is they're gonna just be like the EX girls, just chilling. Nobody uses them. That's how I see them going, because when every color is appropriately taken by a sparking character, and some LFs that are probably gonna come out in the next few months, they're probably just not gonna get used. So
Yeah, that's true. The only one I can see being used more than the other EXs is more Topo. Reason because of his support kit and more of a debuff kit and more of a kit that heals the team and buffs the team. But his green card by destroying the entire hand, which can stop combos, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, but Topo is also the one that dropped with probably the most competition color-wise, because you've got currently anyway, as has Blue Evolution, you got 17. Kale and Cauliflower are solid too. Like Topo has a ton of competition.
Oh yeah, in the same team. Yeah, if we're
Yeah.
talking about Rival Universe and Universal Survival Saga. Yeah, absolutely. Cauliflower and Kale is much better use. Royal Vegeta, Evolution Vegeta, I mean, is much better use too. I mean, 17 is also definitely better use. It all depends on how you want to focus on your team. It all depends more how you want to focus. You want to more supportive or if you want to do damage with each character. But I feel like in this meta and kind of meta that has been before, you kind of need the damage.
The truth is, honestly,
yeah.
I feel like EXs
Unless
are
you're
just
LOE.
like,
Oh yeah, true.
I feel like EXs are just like in the water right now. I feel like nobody's really going out their way to run at EX unit because number one, they're hard to put the LFs, and number two, it's very difficult to start them up, right? So I really don't see Top or Dispo making a splash or even get any playtime in the current meta. But the only
That's
two
why I said they're just
outliers
gonna
were
be like
like
the girls.
Goku and like EX3, and that's it. Like those are the two outliers, obviously, because they are cracked kids.
Yajirobe.
Goku has been
Yajirobe. What about
he sees no
Yajirobe?
play. Dude, he's a spoiler, bro. He sees no play. His main team is Saiyan
What
Saga,
do you
bro.
mean, dude?
He
He's
sees
still
no play.
more play on
Yeah.
Goku now.
Is he?
Because there was just
Is he
literally Saiyan
like in that tier with like Jin and Goku? Yes, but he doesn't really. He never made the splash that they did, right? Which is what I'm saying. So,
dude, the
No, he
side
didn't.
step.
but yeah,
Slashy slash.
I haven't
That's
even
it.
looked at their kids to be honest. Like anytime I see an EX now, I just say, okay, they're trash. That's it. Like I don't check their kids or anything because we're moving so ahead right now. The power creep is just I can't see EXs making a.
Yeah. And that's the
statement.
issue too, is that like EXs have always been super inconsistent. I mean, if you think back to like Whis and his release, it's like, dude, this guy's nuts, you know. And then there's a few more months, and there's another character that comes out. They've always kind of done that, where it's like, you know, every so often there's a crazy one like Jiren or Gokua. But the issue with them is you touched on it. The fact you can't pull them and star them up easily is a crime. That's literally a crime. Their rate is horrendous. It should be better than a 1% sparking. You should pull those characters often, but they look at them as some sort of like secret rares that you have to look for when there's already a secret rare in the goddamn banner. In LFs most of the time. So like that's the biggest issue with them first and foremost, but they can't survive the power creep unless they're like Jiren, where they've got some of these broken mechanics built in, like blast armor and stuff. It's extremely tough for them to be able to make it and see gameplay. And then on top of the fact that, like I said, you know, in the case of a character like Topo, it's like, okay, well, are you using him over Evolution Vegeta at a low star level? Maybe. Like, I don't, probably not.
If you
Like,
want to lose,
you could
sure.
say that you want to build your team a certain way, but at a certain point, a character is just not as good as the other character. So, like, why would you do that?
I'm
And
gonna
that
ask
is
you
the
guys,
problem a lot of EXs go for.
did any of you actually run into either of these units? I ran into Topo, and I'll be honest, he was kind of like, I don't even want to say a wall, he was kind of more like a pillow. It's like he tanked, but when he hit me, I was like, huh. It was like a tickle, didn't really do too much
Well,
damage. Sure, he's buffing
How many stars
like
was he? And for one, he's not a damage dealer. That's another thing.
Yeah,
Like a
100%.
support character, he's got
Yeah.
the lower stats most likely. He's not going to do damage. But how many stars?
Yeah.
He was 7. He
Okay, that's
tanked
good. That's
okay. Okay, but it wasn't like out of this world. I wasn't blown away or anything like that. But yeah, I haven't seen any dispos though. Topo I did see once or twice, but no dispos so far.
Yeah.
I never
I
ran
haven't
into
seen a
them.
single of either.
But yeah, overall, Topo is the better one between those two. Dispo is just weirdly built with the crit rate. I feel like if you're just a collector of units, that you can go for the banner. But I don't recommend that you summon just to get these two. If you got Jiren and Beerus, stop, because they will show up in future banners.
Yep.
Alrighty, I would say looking at the time, we still have a couple of things to cover. Let's talk about the banner itself. DFree, do you think that the banner format is going to be here to stay? Do you like it, or could there be improvements?
So this was a step up with a new LF, 2 EXs, and a sparking. Like, what is this? Like 2019? Like, this is incredibly uncommon, I'd like to think. Like, this is crazy. Like, we don't see that very often. I wonder if, you know, the whole single LF thing that they were doing for a while was maybe due to some real world problems or something like that, messing up their staffing, because I can't for the life of me understand why they thought that was a good idea. So yes, I do love this. And doesn't it have the 20% rates and the 2 times Z power?
Yes.
So like remember during the anniversary, and this is not as good as that, obviously, because those were times 3. But like, remember during the anniversary, we're like, oh yeah, this is crazy. They're not going to keep doing this. And they've actually kind of quietly kept doing it, where it's increases in rates and stuff like that. So I don't want us to get to a point where, at least not yet anyway, because it's only been a couple months, not anniversary, excuse me, from the Legends Festival. It's only a couple months out from then. But I don't want us to get to a point where we look at these banners and say, oh no, this is bad, because that's still incredibly good when you consider the fact this game is 3.5 years old and this is an entirely new thing as of the last few months that they're doing these mega high rates, right? In terms of the roster for the banner, we already talked about how we think Beerus is one of the best 1% sparkings of note recently. Jiren is a Titan. I think he's really, really powerful. But then you look at the rest of the banner, I don't think UI is worth much right now. Beerus as another LF on the banner, it's just not worth much right now. And then you have Evolution Vegeta, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta getting his Zenkai probably next week. And then the other 3 LFs are all pretty solid. So, I mean, I like the idea. I like the format. I like the build with the amount of characters and things like that. But I personally would probably say that unless you're going for maybe Beerus, unless you really like Jiren or want to build his teams or try to just annoy people, I think you can probably hold off on Jiren if you wanted to kind of pull. He will be back before the anniversary. So, you know. But the rest of the banner's okay.
Yeah, I wish they keep doing this with these banners. Like, you have 2 Sparkings and 2 EXs. That would have been great.
Yeah. That's why I said, what is this, 2019? Like, we were getting these left and right. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was about to say, is this 2019 in a good way?
Yeah, that's what I meant. In a good way. Like, this is, like, really good. I remember thinking it was pretty good when we got, like, Bardock and 2 EXs, which just goes to show that, like, the bar dropped quite a bit for a while. So, I'm happy with this.
Any other opinions? ZVG, Iron, what about you guys?
The banner's solid.
I think it's great.
I think everything he said was
Wait. ZVG, Iron?
No, I feel like they needed to make the banners like double Z power and double raids, because after that festival, I don't think any player on Earth would want to go back to the regular 600 Z power banner. So yeah. I do like this new format. I do like the fact that they are including, EXs and stuff and other sparkings into the LF banners. Hopefully, I know it's not going to happen, but hopefully the move going forward is LF 1% and 2 EXs. But obviously that's not going to be the case because, this is Dragon Ball Legends, right? Nothing ever stays the same forever. So overall, I like the format of it. I think it's great. I think it's a great step moving forward. And yeah, I'm all for it.
Iron, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I didn't have too much luck on this banner. I did get Beerus a good couple times. I got him to 7-star. Unfortunately, didn't get any Jirens. I got Topo once, which was cool. So getting the extra Z power on him was great because obviously EXs we mentioned before really hard to pull, and getting that extra Z power for them is really nice. But yeah, obviously the banner's good value if you're looking to summon on it. Of course, during this period with Anniversary kind of creeping along, you could get away with waiting. And also with this Ultra Vegeta banner that's out right now, that's very tempting as well. But at this point, you might want to start thinking about saving since Anniversary is coming around. But still, good value, good units on this banner. 20% sparking, double the Z power. Can't really go wrong there. But unfortunately, I would have liked to have a little better luck on it. But I'll take the Beeruses and the DX Topo.
Well, I'm going to say this, right? This is the first banner in my almost 4 years of playing this game where I pulled the unit on the first multi, so I do feel happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Toshi, for
So best banner.
giving me Jiren.
I'm happy for
Give
your
me Jiren.
sake.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. You know, finally
Pull
got
the
lucky
very
once.
geek. Geek does that like every single banner, man. I don't know how he does it. Like he loves to send me a screenshot as soon as he pulls a new LF. Like he just
He
like
stopped sending me
summons.
his, so yeah.
Bruh, I got a guy
triggered.
on my Discord who pulled on the first multi, 3 units. He got Beerus and Jiren.
Oh man.
Now that's lottery type luck. Like that's crazy right there. That's pretty wild.
But yeah,
You should
speaking
have
of
bought a lottery ticket.
yeah. Speaking of banners, Iron, how do you feel about Ultra Gogeta coming back, seeing as you were chasing him? And it's only been about 2 months.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I was actually very surprised that they were bringing his banner back so quickly. It's basically a copy and paste of what it was. It's the same units, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, dude, I went in like a solid 15K for the Ultra Gogeta on the first time around. And I did not get him. But Toshi, whoever, I don't know if I got preemptive Legends Weekend luck. Whatever, man. I got like 3 copies. And I got him to like red 3, which is really, really nice. So
Bro.
obviously, you know, this banner I feel like is low-key bait. But hey, man, if you're really like fiending for Ultra Gogeta like me, I very well could get lucky here. I got lucky. It's possible you too. But they could potentially bring this banner back towards the anniversary, but who knows how like oft they're gonna bring this banner around. But the fact that they brought it back this quickly means they're not afraid to do so. So that's my thoughts.
What I'm
Bro, it took
wondering
me
is
like
just
16K to put another copy.
Yeah.
I need that 10 star buff, and it took me like 16,000. I'm still pissed about that, but I'm happy that I got the copy. But man, took everything, bro.
I'm more
Everything
surprised
to get
Ultra
that,
Gogeta's
man.
banner came back with the perk. I thought it might have not
Yeah.
like had that.
Yeah, I was actually gonna just mention that. Like, not only did they bring him back, but they brought him back with the extra Z power that you get for pulling him as well. I thought that was
Yeah.
gonna be taken away, but the fact that they brought that
Yeah.
back as well is pretty interesting.
yeah, it could have
Well, I
just been
will say
1,000.
that I will say that I do think that is intentional for Ultras in general, but like this is a rerun banners. Like I didn't think it'd still be there. But like I
Yeah.
do think any new Ultra that comes out will have that. I don't think that was a Legends Festival exclusive thing.
So what I'm
So, we'll have to
interested
see.
is if you're saying this is probably bait, Iron, what would it be bait for though? Because we got the LF banner 2 days before. Now we got this banner. Like what are they gonna throw at us next that they don't want us to have chrono crystals for?
I guess bait in the sense that like anniversary is coming, this Android movie is coming, so like it's just more so the fact of things coming, you know, down the line, not necessarily the next banner coming, is basically what I meant by bait. But obviously Ultra Gogeta is hands down the best character in the game. He literally does everything. So if you go for this guy, I don't blame you. 100% I don't blame you.
Stop simping. What? But yeah, now that you have him, you get to enjoy him before people call you toxic.
Yeah, what do I have, like a week before then or something like that?
You get a
No,
couple more days.
It's after
yeah.
2 matches.
Alrighty, so we have less than 12 hours, about 10 hours before Legends Battle Royale Extreme is coming back. ZVG, what team are you gonna use?
Ironcane, easy.
Really?
Yup.
Interesting.
I don't have minions. I don't have salmon. I don't farm trash. So I have the go Boujin and the Boujin biceps beat up by my side. So it's easy class, bro. I ain't gotta worry. But another good team is, I think Battleamore will probably like run this, or I don't know, is a blue purple setup with EX3 and Goku and Yajirobe. Benches, EX14, EX Fat Boo, and the purple Super Saiyan Half Bar Time Chamber Goku. That team looks pretty fierce. So yeah, that's another team option you guys can run if you guys are looking for a team to run in EXLBR.
What about you, DFree? What team are you planning on running?
I haven't decided. I kind of want to do something with EX Jiren, but I don't know. I think the options are so open now because of leader slot.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm thinking of probably running the pool squad because I got to represent and maybe add like either just Goldo and be boring because he has the HP buff, so they're tanky boys. Or you could also run like Zenkai Ginyu, Zenkai EX Frieza, or even just, you know, a leader slot Jiren or Yajirobe in there. But I kind of just want to rep the minions since, I mean, I even have like channel emotes on Twitch that are minions, so it has to be done.
Yeah, I'm curious. In terms of like the free to play Zenkais, which ones do you guys think are the best? Is it the Frieza, the Ginyu, the Cell? Just curious, what do you guys think about that?
You could
Krillin?
honestly make an Android's EXLBR team with like the EXL, because I think the EXL is like very good. I mean, well, obviously not very good, but for an EX, his kid he has card draw, speed debuff, and all that other stuff. So I think you could make a pretty good EX Android LBR team with like, you know, Cell 17 or like Lear slot somebody on the team. I don't know, but yeah.
DFree, you running the Krillin, bro?
What'd you say?
Are you running the Krillin?
I mean, I should.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't decided. It's a secret.
Okay.
For me, it's not a secret. I'm using Super Warriors.
Of course you are.
I
With
hope you
Yajirobe?
Yes.
I hope you lose.
Slashy
homie.
slash.
You say, I hope you lose.
I
I
hope
hope
you
you
lose.
lose. My God, I'll see what you thank you. I wish you the same.
ZV
Okay.
Toxic in the house.
I'm pretty sure Matt Bucci will carry me to victory, so it doesn't matter, bro. Once
will
I lock
carry
you
you,
in, bro,
but
easy
not to
claps.
What about the baby, guys? The baby's kind of crazy.
The who? Honestly, that'd be. I expect Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta to probably run that team like EX Baby, EX Baby Vegeta, and like EX Shinron or something like that'd be interesting. Like there's a lot of interesting EXs, right? But obviously we all know who are the better ones. But you could make some interesting teams with these EXs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
what's great about this mode is that even if you've had, crappy luck pulling some of these really good EX units like the Jiren, like there's a lot of valid, like free to play EXs that you could get just by grinding the game, which is dope.
Yeah, but though I feel like in this EX Battle Royale, the blue purple setup is probably the most annoying team to face. Especially how Goku is, his stat is equal to a good sparking unit when he
I think-
transforms.
An underrated character to use would be somebody like the new EX17. He's actually really good.
Oh, he's insane, especially with his equip too. That gives him pure strike for 80
Yeah,
time counts.
he is actually really powerful. So,
It's just hard to pick where he should be in the team. Because they're
on an
not,
EX only team?
Yeah, EX only team. Because they're sure they are androids, but most androids buffs blast damage.
Nah, I'm building around him. He doesn't have to be an Android team. There's a leader slot.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Never mind.
So,
So we got
This
that.
mode-
I mean, I might build around him. We'll see.
This isn't LBR, right? If I
It
forget
is,
how this
yeah.
mode works. It takes a
Everyone
while.
is
It is
14
LBR.
star.
Oh,
LBR.
dope. Yeah, so even if you just pulled one copy of somebody, you can run them. 100%.
No, that's why I recommend those who have pulled on this banner that pull Topo and the Dispo, just use those two with Jiren, and that will be good. That would be an interesting
Yeah.
setup, EX setup.
Does
In
that
an
come in the
only
Zenkai?
EX Climat, those two are really good.
Yeah. Especially with the EX Jiren too, that buffs the team just by covering, taking damage, end of combos. Oof.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you before DFree. I was just for the the Zenkai buffs, for the uniques, does that count as well for LBR?
Yeah.
No, you have to have the node unlocked for the Unix to take effect.
Gotcha. Okay. Just
Maybe
wanna
it's so
make sure.
boosted, but you need to unlock the node yourself to have it there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, if you wasn't, I don't remember. It's been so long. You might be right, but I was thinking that if you have isn't it that if you have the Zenkai level done, you don't have to undo the nodes? It just gives you the effects.
No, I'm saying that you get the stats, right? But for the uniques in particular, you have to
Oh,
you have to get that yourself. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because it happened to me in I think the video, not the league and stuff. I had the kid Goku and he just didn't have the endurance. I was like, okay, well, I guess
Oh.
that's how it works. But he had the stats and stuff, so yeah,
Gotcha.
that's
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, bye then, I guess. Alrighty, we have one more thing to talk about. It's a rather small thing. That's what she's. But we got a new equip or a new awakening for the. Is it the try all you want? You cannot defeat me. Jiren equip battle. Because you said that there's a new Awakened one.
It is the new Awakened one. It gives like 20% to defense, either strike or blast. I think it's blast in the beginning.
Yeah.
Then there is also base strike on the slot 2 that is up to 25%, and slot 3 that is special move and ultimate damage up to 12.5. This equip is really good, though they have made certain to that this equip is only for the Universal Survivor Saga Rival Universe team. While the pre-equipment was for only Rival Universe, like you could put this on Hit, for example, that it was on the Future Trunks Saga, before Universal Survivor Saga was a thing. But this equipment is really good. Like, it gives both base blast defense and strike defense. And gives special move and ultimate damage, which is kind of crazy because there is a lot of Universal Survivor Saga that has a lot of blue damage and ultimate damage. It's kind of insane. Like, we have Bergamo, we have Jiren now, especially. We have Caulifla and Kale.
Both Keflas, God Topo,
Green Jiren.
Old Jiren.
Yeah, exactly. So this equip is really good. If you just want to build up the tanky build, which is kind of recommended nowadays, because else you'll be kind of getting one shot these days.
Yeah. You need full defense and HP, equips any NZ abilities. I faced somebody with a Future team, and they had like Goku Black and Zamasu in a leader slot, and they had like it was like Future, and then the other two were Trunks and Future Gohan, and they had like 3 HP buffs. They had the Gotenks, the Gohan, and the Mai, and I'm like, oh my god, this is cancer.
Yep.
I was like, dude, couldn't do anything.
I also remember I played...
if you like going annoying and tanky, this is for you.
Yeah, I remember I played LOE with both Guldo and the Chilled. And I think my purple Frieza had like almost 4 million HP.
Garbage. And it's like, it's so annoying, dude. And also, like, when you give them the defensive equips and the abilities too, it's just like these characters take no damage.
Yeah.
So this one's good. My only gripe with this one is that, like, it's better than it was before, obviously, by a decent bit. But I just wish that with equips, they would maybe give them something else. Like, you know, maybe where's like health restoration on that 3rd slot, something like that. I don't know. Just feels like there could have been something else here other than just like a stat increase. But I guess.
Yeah, that's
But this
true.
is like an equip that I wouldn't feel bad about just having, like, especially if you like the Xeon, the pre, like just having that and calling it day. Like, I wouldn't feel bad about that. Personally.
Yeah, that's true. But this equip is still pretty good for all of Rival Universe and Universal Survivor Saga, just because it gives like special move and ultimate damage. Also because of both defense, of course, but it's most of the special move and ultimate damage. That is almost every character in the Universal Survivor Saga that can almost use it.
It's like most characters that release anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone has literally blue. Of course, everyone has a blue, but almost everyone has an ultimate. Like, you can put this on Ribrianne if you wanted to. So I do not recommend it.
The hell?
We're all waiting for
Sugar
the same
Sentai
time.
be disgusting. Watch out.
my
No
God.
switch and paralysis? No.
Gee, no. But yeah, that is one thing. It's just, I feel like this can potentially be one of the good equipments that you will put on units. Especially when with Jiren, that his base stats are not that great, while his power-ups with his abilities are incredible. So with the more base stat increased with his abilities, just increase more defense. I mean, it kind of stacks, but there are a limit how much it can stack.
Do you guys think this is an equipment worth like kind of hoarding, getting like 3 or 4 like red slots, gold slots, or you think just?
I mean,
getting one and done?
there are definitely better equipment. Like there are the plat equip that everyone in Universal Survivor Saga can have, but you want to run that. It depends on if you're stripe based, absolutely. If you're blast based, I mean, I do recommend like 2 at least, just to have options on what you can put them on. But
I wouldn't recommend more than 2 right now.
Okay,
It just kind of
maybe.
also just depends on how this equip will age. So,
Yeah, it's just too bad. It's just limited to Rival Universe and Universal Survivor Saga. It could have been just for Universal Survivor Saga. That would have been great.
yeah, that would have actually opened the doors a lot.
UI
Yeah,
Goku
that-
with defense. Whee!
Well, it's pretty much the way it is now is like everyone from the Tournament of Power arc except for Universe 7 characters.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Which I think is still a lot of characters. Just not, you know,
Yeah,
the
and
main ones.
there are going to be obviously going to be showing up more in the future that we are having more rival universe from that TOP that is going to appear here. So this equipment can age very well because you can easily grind it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, also, you know, are you legitimately playing rival universe right now? Because if not, just get one for Jir and throw him somewhere on the leader slot, and you're good. You know, like if it's not a team for you, just get one so you can play it with this, you know, one of the units you want to put somewhere, and then call it a day.
Yeah, true. Well, this equipment is good, but depends on if you actually run the team or depends on what unit you run. Like if it's God Key, just put it on God of Destruction Topo and make him more tanky.
For example.
Yeah.
All right, and speaking of calling it a day, we had so many topics to discuss that I would say today we won't have time for questions, sadly. But yeah, this marks the end of the Ultra Space Time Podcast, episode 74. Make sure to give all our creators a follow. You can see their Twitter handles on the screen right now, and you will find their YouTube, Twitch, or whatever other channels they have, like Ironcane's OnlyFans, for example, on their Twitter. And, you know, Ironcane takes donations for Legends Weekend to make it greater. With that said, this podcast is going to go live on YouTube in about 25 hours from now. So if you want to rewatch it or you missed parts of it, go over there. Drop us a sub on YouTube as well if you want to. And yeah, we will see you guys next week with episode 75. Hopefully lots of interesting stories to tell from Legends Battle Royale Extreme. And thanks to all our creators, CVG, Battleamore, DFree, and Ironcane for being on. See you guys soon.
yeah.
See you guys. Keep it as him all the way.
Peace.
Happy Legends Weekend.